Hi everyone, welcome back to Earl Grey Books. I'm Ellie and this is part 1 of my June wrap up, which I am continuing to do in a vlog style like I did in May. So I've already read 4 books. I just haven't really only wanted to read, so that's what I've been doing. So to start off the month, I read To Drink Coffee with a Ghost by Amanda Lovelace. I bought this one this month and it arrived and I read it straight away. So there's that one. I really enjoyed that. I kind of had a bit of a mixed relationship with Amanda Lovelace's poetry. I really loved her first one. The princess saves herself in this one, and then yeah, the others weren't so great, but this was enjoyable. She talks a lot about her grief for her mother, so I felt a lot of that. It felt very personal, and we had very different relationships with our mothers, but yeah, it still hit. And then I read 12th Night by Shakespeare. I just was trying to get through a couple of like short books so that I wouldn't have so many ones sitting on my shelves, and yeah, so this was one that I read. I really enjoyed this. I think this is like my 8th or 9th Shakespeare, and this is probably one of my favourite ones. It's not quite the favourite, but it was good. And then of course we had a romance. I have An Inconvenient Duke by Anna Harrington. This is the first book in this series. I really enjoyed this. It was a lot more intense than what I had anticipated it to be. There's kind of like a bit of a murder mystery in there, and like underworld stuff, if that makes sense, like drugs and brothels and things like that. So it was different to what I was expecting, but I really enjoyed it anyway. And then from my library I borrowed an ebook copy of How to Grow a Family Tree by Eliza Henry Jones, and I have a full-length review of that one, so I'll link it below. But I really enjoyed it. Gave that one 4 stars as well. And yeah, it was a lot heavier than I anticipated. It's a love YA and a contemporary, so I just kind of expected like I expected a heaviness to it, but not quite the level that there was. But it was still really enjoyable and really well written, and it felt very it just felt very honest, and I really liked it. So hopefully I will be back maybe tomorrow with another book. We'll see. I've read 5 books since I talked to you guys last. I just didn't really feel like filming. I just wanted to kind of chill in my pajamas for the last, like, I don't even know how many days it's been. A couple of days. Yes, 5 books. So I didn't talk about this at the start of the video because I wasn't sure whether this would like pan out, but I think I'm gonna try and read 30 books this month. So I'm on track. Let's talk about the ones that I read. So I finally finished up The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa. This was nominated for the International Booker. Yeah, I started this one late last month, and I was just kind of reading it slowly because that's kind of the book that it is. I didn't love this. I gave it this 3 stars. The writing is extremely beautiful, and I really thought the premise was really interesting. So the main character lives on this island where things like disappear. So for example, I think in the like blurb it mentions hats, ribbons, birds, roses, and that sort of thing. And the main character is a writer who discovers that her editor is going to be taken away by the memory police because he can remember things that have disappeared, and you're not supposed to be able to do that. I thought that was incredible, but it was a little bit too slow for me, and I just didn't feel like it's a dystopian, and I enjoy the idea of like a slow dystopian, but I just don't think that this was quite pulled off. It needed a little bit more of a higher stake to it for me, but yeah, beautiful writing. And then I finally read King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo, which was on my June TBR, and I will talk a little bit more about that. I think I might do kind of like a wrap up in July of like I'm planning to do the Shop My Shelves again in July, so I might do like a May, June, July wrap up, and we'll talk about them. But yeah, I gave this one 3.5. I really liked the start, and I really liked the last chapter, but everything in between that, I was just so bored. And I think part of it's my fault because this is based a lot on the first Grisha trilogy, and it's been like 5 years since I read them, and I just didn't remember anything. But I also feel like maybe that's not entirely my fault, and you know, it's like I just have a bad memory and I just can't remember that stuff. But I think that it was maybe it needed a little bit more pizzazz to it, and yeah, I plan to continue with the series because I do really like Bardugo's work. I don't know when the next one is coming out. I haven't seen anything for that, or for the sequel to Ninth House, or for this third one that's supposed to be in the Six of Crows duology. But anyway, next up I read The Skinny Bones by Sean Tan. This is just a beautiful little book with sculptures in. I didn't realise that the little fairy tales that are next to it are just excerpts. And I believe that Sean Tan actually made these sculptures for Philip Pullman's book of fairy tales, which I owned once upon a time and just didn't really, I tried to read it and didn't get along with it. But yes, beautiful sculptures. Sean Tan is incredible. And then I had to break it up with some romance, of course. This is 9 Rules to Break When Romancing a Rake by Sarah McLean. This is the first book in this series. I ordered this one from Better World Books in March, and it finally arrived the other day. I thought it had gone missing, but yeah, it turned up the other day after like 3 months. But yeah, so I read it straight away, and I really, really enjoyed this. Gave this one 4 stars. It was just a fun book, and this is my 3rd Sarah McLean, and yeah, I just really enjoy her. And then last night I was just feeling a bit, I don't want to say like miserable or even like depressed. I was just having one of those nights where it was like cold outside, and I just wanted to like curl up with a book that I would know, that I knew I would love. So I decided to reread Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. This is my favourite Agatha Christie, I think. Either that, this, or And Then There Were None, because they were my first 2 of hers. And yeah, I read this in the space of about 2 hours last night, and I still loved it. and it just makes me really happy, which I know is a bit weird because, like, yeah, it's a book about murder, but I just really enjoy this. So yes, those are those ones, and it's like I don't know, it's the 7th today, so I will see you guys hopefully maybe in another few days. I don't know, I just haven't really felt like filming this month, so yeah, we'll see when I decide to film with the books that I finish. So it's the 13th today, and I accidentally left it again until I had 5 books. So let's talk about the ones that I read. Starting off was The Ruin by Devela Tiernan. This is a crime novel. She is an Irish author, and this is set in Ireland, but she lives here in Australia now. So we're kind of claiming her as our own, I guess. I don't usually read crime novels, and when I do, I don't really get through them unless it's an Agatha Christie. So I read this one, I got through it, and I really enjoyed it. So I gave this one 4 stars, and this is the first in a series, and I'm really looking forward to continuing with the series. I bought this last year, and I just kept putting it off, and then one of my old co-workers read this and really loved it, so I gave it a go. So yeah, really enjoyed that one. And then I started a little bit of a project for myself, which I'm doing as a blog post. It's sort of like towards the end of July, because I think it's going to take me a little bit of a while. That didn't make sense. Anyway, I'll talk more about it once I've read more books for it. But I picked up the Poems of New York, which is edited by Elizabeth Smith, and this is from the Everyman's Library Pocket Poet editions. I love these little editions, they're really cute. I bought this one in New York in 2018, and yeah, I read this, didn't really like it. There were a couple of really good poets in there, and then there were just a lot of meh in there, so I gave it 2 stars, and yeah, I didn't really like it. And then I read 2 ebooks. I read X Marks the Spot by Sarah Anderson. This was a NetGalley. I gave this one 3 stars. This is a YA contemporary about a young girl that is sent to Provence by her parents to go and live with her grandmother for the summer. It's like a cutesy YA romance, so if you're into that sort of thing, or if that's what you're looking for, it's really good. Lots in there about France, obviously, and like food and that sort of thing, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it, but it just wasn't what I was in the mood for, so I gave that one 3 stars. It wasn't bad, but just didn't quite have that spark for me. And I also read Freedom is a Constant Struggle by Angela Y. Davis. I got this one from Haymarket Books. I think maybe back in March they were doing like a bunch of their ebooks for free at the start of self-isolation. So I got like 5 of them, and this was one of them. I love Angela Davis. I really enjoyed this one. It's kind of a bit of a strangely put together book. The first half is like interviews with Angela and another guy whose name I've forgotten, who kind of like put the book together, and then the other half is like speeches that she's given in the last few years. This was published I think in 2013 or something, so sort of like around that time. And yeah, so I enjoyed it, but it was quite repetitive. Like it's specifically about Ferguson and Palestine, and that was great. But yeah, the way it was edited, she was just saying the exact same things, bringing up the same people, and yeah, so it was still good because she's incredible and she's an incredible writer. But yeah, it was just a bit like everything was the same and it was worded the same. Like there was nothing new added. So yeah. Anyway, the last one that I finished up for this clip in the last few days, I finished this one last night. This is I Love a Broad Margin to My Life by Maxine Hong Kingston. Yes, this is a kind of like poetry memoir. So it's entirely in verse, but yeah, it's like there are like multiple poems in here, but they're quite long ones. And yeah, it's kind of a memoir of her life, looking back and that sort of thing. I just read The Woman Warrior by her last month, which is why I picked this one up. I enjoyed this one a little bit more, gave this 4 stars. It was just, I really liked her writing in The Woman Warrior, but struggled a little bit with the stories. And in this one, because it was sort of just poems, it was in a way easier to get through. And yeah, it's pretty incredible, all the sort of things that she writes about. And I think one of my favorite ones was called Vietnam Village, and she was talking about a protest that she was a part of in 2003 that she got arrested for. She was also there with Alice Walker, which just sounds amazing, like. And I'm hoping, I've got a couple more books I want to finish off. Come on then. Probably before this part, so that I'm up to date. I'm still on track to read 30 books this month. Okay, I will pay attention to you now. Okay, back here with my last section of this wrap up. The middle of the month came super quick this month, I swear. But I finished off 3 more books. So I have The Republic of Birds by Jessica Miller. I was buddy reading this and I enjoyed this. I gave it 3.5 stars. It wasn't bad, but it was just kind of like, I just wanted it to go in a little bit of a different direction than what it did. Yeah, still enjoyable. I also DNF'd a book. I had a e-arc of The King's 100 by Karen Biggs. Again, this wasn't necessarily a bad book. This is like a, I'm not really sure if it's a fantasy, to be honest. It kind of felt like that. It was like this world, and the main character is a princess, and her family, her parents have died, her sister's the queen, and they live in this society that's very like STEM based, and they like don't really show emotion. What that has to do with STEM, I don't know. It was just very quick. Like in the first chapter, she already like leaves her kingdom to go to this other one where apparently her mother might be alive, and that happened, yeah, super quick. And I just feel like this is a very like young YA, if that makes sense. Like if you're a fan of something like The Selection, you might really enjoy this, but I've kind of diverted from that, and I like more of a gritty fantasy most of the time. So there's that one. And then I've already read The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary with Angel, and I'm still not sure how I feel about this. I finished this like 2 days ago because I didn't realize that the 15th had passed. And yeah, I enjoyed this, but I don't know how much I enjoyed it. I will be doing a discussion with Angel next week, which is probably this week by the time this video is going to be up. So yeah, I guess I'll kind of have my thoughts together by then. We'll see. And what is it with me and like kind of matching, let's move my hair out of the way, kind of matching colours in this light. Like, it's a new thing I do apparently. But yeah, that's the first half of June. I don't really know how the second half is gonna go. I've just been like, I just had an exam today, so I've just been like stressed, and I cannot think about reading right now. So we'll kind of see how the rest of the month pans out. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!